So when I started at a disadvantage. And let me explain what I mean. During the dry run, I started at 10:19 a.m. So I was up at 7, came in, I was rested and I got into it. Now, during the main event, I was up at 5, could barely sleep in the night because I was anxious. Now, I got to the venue at about 7:30 and everything wasn't ready and set. We had some issues with the CCTV footage that cameras we got. It wasn't picking up sound. Just trying to make sure that evidence was properly documented. At some point, the cubicle was shocking because there were a lot of wires, so they now had to rewire it to check where, the shock was coming from. So we had a lot of issues. So, and there was a lot of press. So I got in, I did my press interviews. I was upstairs, downstairs, checking to make sure everything was fine. And because I'm anxious, I just can't wait to start. So I had already been up for 12 hours, not resting. And then I started at 4. So I'm starting, but in truth, I have already exerted myself for 12 hours and I hadn't rested. Ideally, what I should have done was rested for at least 6 hours and probably started like 8. But I didn't do that because I wanted to just get into it because I'm like, people have been here, they have been waiting, I don't want to lose the crowd. Let's just start. People need to eat. And when I started 6 hours in, my body had started to tell because it's like, you need to shut down. And I feel like in that moment, I looked at the crowd and it sort of dawned on me, what I was embarking on. And then the thought of failure dawned on me as well. What happens if you fail? But in a much grander sense. So I couldn't help but think about what would happen if I didn't make it to that 97 hours or 96 hours. And I just had the worst anxiety. It was horrible. I was in pain, my hands were shaking. It was really bad. It was so bad. And I had racked up 30 minutes. So I took 10 minutes from my 30 minutes to do a quick vital check. I came back and I just knew that, that was the wrong call. I needed more time. I needed more breaks. So I got another 1 hour. So I got 25 minutes. In this period, my brother had come. He was trying to talk me through it. There's nothing my brother did not say. He got to in fact, you know what? Guinness doesn't matter. You can walk out of this place and we'll go home and we will never speak of this again. If you don't want to do this, it's fine. Let's forget about it. But you've not dropped dead yet. So I guess you can just keep going till you can't go anymore. And I just kept trying. And at this point, we had started praying. My mother had started praying. And I honestly was begging God for a miracle because my body had failed me. And this was 6 hours in. And it was crazy to me because I had done 24 hours like it was nothing. So how am I this week at 6 hours? Or let me say, this is now we're about 8 hours in. How am I this week at 8 hours? Honestly, I was saying that if we had a betting company on board at the time, they would have made so much money because on that day, everybody that had seen me at that time would have gone straight to place their bets that I wasn't going to make it because even I didn't think I was going to make it. So I honestly just I begged God for a miracle. And he honestly sent me a miracle because I had such a low. I was in tears. I don't know if we have a footage of it. I will ask the editors, but I was in tears. And I was just cooking while in tears and just trying to do as much as I could. And then I threw up and my eyes opened. And it was such a low that I now had such a high. Like all of a sudden, everybody was shocked because all of a sudden I became energetic. I was dancing, I was singing, I was cooking, and I was doing everything. And God sent someone to me. So my friends were there and my friends had been there, and your friends love you. It's difficult for them to see you in that state. And a friend of mine that I would say we weren't even close at this time, Sydney, he came. And he came at about 2 a.m. And he was in front of the box at the time, and he was dancing, and he would say to me, he'll be like, Hilda, look at me. And I'll look, but I kept telling myself, don't get used to this energy. He's not going to be here for that long, you know. He's not going to be here for that long. Don't get used to this. Don't get used to this. So I wouldn't look at him. And some way, somehow, he found his way. He came into the box. And then, obviously, like, everybody's trying to hype you. Amma was there, was hyping me. My boyfriend was there. He was, you know, he was just looking at me and just trying to give me all the energy. My brother was there. Dubain was there, my mommy, like my dad, everybody, everybody was literally just there trying to be as supportive as they possibly could. And Sydney was just there dancing. He's like, Hilda, you know, he now gave me his shoes, his Crocs. He's like, okay, let's get her ice. Put ice in the shoes and let her put her feet in the ice. I don't know where he got all those things from. And then this was, I think now we were at 12 hours or we're like maybe 10 hours in. And they were like, you know, I think she needs time to sleep. And it was, you get 5 minutes for every completed 1 hour. So that means if I'm able to stand for 12 hours, I would have earned 1 hour. So I'm like, 1 hour sleep would be very useful to me. So Sydney heard that and he says to me, Hilda, okay, so this is 3 a.m. Sydney's like, you know that if we finish by 3 p.m., you will get that 1 hour to sleep. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it from where I'm coming from. Me that was just almost half dead, like 3 hours ago. What do you mean by I'll stand here till 3? And he's like, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here with you the whole time. I'm not going to sit, I'm not going to eat, I will just be here. And just hearing that, I think that just gave me like an energy boost. My brother is like, Hilda, I'm here with you. I'm not going anywhere. So Gilbert was there. And Gilbert was, you know, so he was observing, taking notes and just trying to notice when my body starts to fail. So he kicks into, Hilda, you just need to push through. Your body is just trying to shut down now. But if you push through for another 2 hours, it will wake back up. So just keep going. So he was being all medical, logical, ethical. Sydney was just there, we just need the vibes. And we just need to be praying to God. So the next thing he's telling me, okay, put your feet up now. Because he's standing so he can feel what I'm feeling. Like he knows that her feet is starting to hurt right now. So get her ice, put ice in. And then there was my kitchen assistant, Sonny. And Sonny he just kept speaking words of encouragement to me. He's like, you know what? You didn't come here to fail. Remember when I asked you how I didn't know you liked this so much? You say, if I did not like it, I will not be here. It's because you are here that I am here. Please, ma, you cannot. It's such an incredible story, honestly. I could go on and on. You know, I wouldn't want to bore you guys, but I honestly could go on and on because it took everybody and everything. At some point, I'm like, so what happened? I took a break and I came back and Sonny was supposed to go on a break because we were supposed to change kitchen assistants at intervals. And they now brought the next kitchen assistant and I lost it. Because I'm like, no, I don't think I can do this without him. I don't want anybody else. And we had 24 people on the team. How do you want just one person? So they went back and they spoke to him and he's like, yes, I don't want to go. I will be here with her. I'm not going anywhere. It was crazy. And I went back and and it was just how willing everybody was. Everyone was so willing. It was like everybody was so willing. So at a point, I realized that I wasn't doing this for just myself. I never thought I was doing it for just myself, but at a point, it was not about me anymore. It was about every single person that was there. Because it was like, I looked at them and I'm like, these people see something in you that you like, for them to see this in you, there's something here. And the devil is trying to stop you from seeing what that thing is. And at 2 days in, I realized that, yeah, the devil did actually want me to get to this point because he knew that this was going to happen. Because on the second day, I had a low as well. Same anxiety. It was horrible. And my supporters, my followers, my students, my friends, we stayed they were under the rain because it rained early in the morning, and we had an entire worship session. And they didn't even think about canopy. They were there under the rain. And we just kept praying because honestly, we didn't have anything else. There was nothing else we had. We only had God. Like, God was honestly the only person that would take us through this time. And I think he just knew that too many people have put their faith together to have this dream. There are too many testimonies that are going to be tied to this story. So it's important to me that I make the story. So it's almost like if God had said, this is what is going to happen this time, by the time everybody had keyed in, he's like, no, we have to make this bigger. More people need to be a part of this because this is going to tell a story. And I kept telling him, you know that I'm not going to give your glory to anybody else because you're the person that has gotten me to this point. Every single thing that has brought me here has been as a result of you. My entire life has been because of you. So at a point when it was, I think that was Saturday morning, I was making breakfast and it was hard again. And I just kept telling myself, you did not bring me here to fail. I am the light of the world. Like all the Bible verses that I have learned in this life, that was the time that it came to. So I just had to keep talking to myself. And my brother said, yeah, just keep saying that. Just keep saying, just keep talking, just keep praising, just keep praying. And at a point I realized that, you know what? You've been asking God, you've been asking and asking and asking. You've asked from day 1. God has gotten you to day 3. Are you selfish? Say thank you. Say thank you now. Don't you have sense? And I'm telling you, it was almost like I was having an entire conversation with the Holy Spirit while this whole thing was happening. So it's like, Hilda, so it's the way everybody is telling me, Hilda, stare. You need to keep staring. While I'm sleeping and working, they just keep ordering me, okay, now you're making coconut rice, so you need to stare so that they know that you're doing something. Now move to the next spot. Because I would have like 3 hours where I'm half asleep. So while I'm half asleep, I still need to keep working. So it's like my body is on autopilot. So it's like Sydney, Harmony, Gilbert, damn it, like everyone, everyone is now just going on and on. Like my Lola, Sonny is like, oh, Hilda, stay, so go to the next spot now. Oh man, no, that's Maggie. You just carried oil. You need to pick vegetable oil now. You just took water. Your hand is on the fire. Remove your hand from the fire. So while they're doing that, it's like the Holy Spirit is telling me, you're just asking God, tell him thank you, say thank you. So it's like I'm now praying, oh Father, thank you for where I am, thank you for getting us to this point. Father, whatever happens from here, I will still glorify your name. I will still and I'm just grateful. So from day 3, it was now more, we just need to keep giving thanks to God, because the God that has gotten you here is going to get you to the end.